Finding Nemo in 3D. This is a 2003 movie, 1 hour and 40 minutes long, 1.78 to 1 aspect ratio, so you're going to get this huge, beautiful picture on the projector. Absolutely incredible. Dolby True HD 7.1 on the sound, 8.2 currently on Internet Movie Database out of 10, 99% critics approval score on Rotten Tomatoes, and 86% audience approval score on Rotten Tomatoes. This came out in 2003. It's 21 years ago. I haven't seen this movie in 21 years. Directed by Andrew Stanton. Andrew also does the voice for Crush the turtle. He also does the voice for the seagulls when they say mine, mine. One frame of this film, as you can see here, the light reflections and everything. One frame, which is 1/24th of a second, took 4 days to make. This movie was over 5 years in the making. Demand for tropical fish went up so much when this movie came out, and people didn't know what they were getting into. They ended up flushing most of their fish down the toilet. In some areas of the world, the population of the clownfish went down 75% because they were in such demand. And sadly, most of them got flushed down the toilet. But as we know, not every drain leads to the ocean. All right. My favorite 3D scenes here is going to be the jellyfish scene. But we're going to talk about the 3D here in a minute. Look, I picked this up. I'm going to put a link where you can buy this. If I can find a link, it'll probably be on Amazon, but I think I found this on eBay for like 12 bucks. I mean, look, 5-disc set. They don't make this anymore. This thing weighs like a pound. It's incredible. You got your, digital copy. There's the DVD copy. Things you don't need anymore. Well, we know that, right? Here's a bonus disc. The 2D's in there now, and then I've got the 3D disc and this little book here. And I mean, they just don't do this anymore. They just don't do this anymore. Let's talk about the movie, then we'll talk about the 3D. A very, very heartfelt, a lot of life applications here in this movie. There really is. Look, I know there was maybe a dark scene in the beginning, but the life applications here is incredible. That's why it was probably so popular. It deals with losing a parent at a young age. It deals with a father raising a son. It deals with letting go of your child to fall down and get hurt and grow up and learn to do things on his own, and what happens when a father won't let that happen. Okay? It deals with friendships. It deals with working with friends that you don't know or never met. It deals with disabilities. And disabilities that you may have, and disabilities with others, and how you relate to that. It deals with teamwork. There's just so many life applications here. It's absolutely incredible. The music score is good, and the scenes and the cinematography is absolutely amazing. Where are we at here with 3 minutes? Let's get into the 3D right now. The 3D, to me, is I said it before. I'm going to say it again. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You've got Pixar and you've got Disney. What do you think is going to happen with 3D? Absolutely gorgeous. It is like, and I'm an ex-scuba diver and snorkeler. It's like you're swimming in the ocean with them. It's like you're there in the ocean. And when you're looking at these aquarium scenes, it's like you're looking into an aquarium. And it's like you're in the ocean, with the coral over here and a cave over here and a fish in the background. Look, there's not a whole lot of pop-outs. There is no pop-outs, actually. There's nothing, or I call them fly-outs. There's no fly-outs. Nothing's going to fly out of the screen. You will get some negative parallax, and that's what we call when something sticks out of the screen a little bit. You're going to get fish tails, out of the screen in the room, and some heads. And there are some scenes where fish come right up at your face. You're going to get bubbles coming down, floating in the room. You're going to get that. You're going to get bubbles floating in the room. And you're going to get these little particles in the water. If you've ever been scuba diving or snorkeling in the ocean, or you'll see these little particles floating by that, like by your mask. And those particles are in the room all the time, so you're going to get that. Gorgeous depths into the ocean. Gorgeous colors. Wonderful colors. Like you're at the reef. You know, it starts out with a little bit of a tragedy. And there's a scene in here where there's a barracuda in the background. Now, a lot of these life applications may be some triggers for you. I don't know. Well, there was a trigger for me. When I saw that barracuda off in the background, I got a story to tell you at the end about me and a barracuda, real life story. So stick around at the end. I'm going to tell you about that story. And then Nemo, he messes up, man. You know, Nemo goes out over the deep, gets out on and goes out swim towards a boat because nobody, you know, he's daring him to go touch the boat, and he gets taken away. Some scuba divers take him, and he winds up in a fish tank in a dentist's office. And now Dad is, what I like about this is the two parallel stories. You've got Dad trying to find Nemo, and you got Nemo that wants to get back in the ocean and meets a lot of new friends in that fish tank. And Dad, all the adventures that he has to do to get to Sydney, you know, and the voiceovers here, all these famous actresses and actors, you know. Ellen DeGeneres does Dory. It's a wonderful, wonderful, heartfelt story. And that's the 3D. The 3D is absolutely, to me, it's gentle on the eyes. It's good 3D. It really is amazing to me. And that giant screen, and it just sucked me right in, man. I couldn't turn it off. And I hadn't seen this in 20-some years. 20-some years I haven't seen this. All right, so what I'm going to do with Nemo? Well, I'm going to give Nemo, I'm sorry, folks, 5.0 for the movie, and I'm going to give it, I'm going to have to give it 4.5 stars for the 3D because I like flyouts. Now, there is no flyouts here and very little stickouts, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So 5 for the movie, 4.5 for the 3D. All right. I want you to leave some comments. Well, now look, this was re-released in 3D, and it was also shown in the theaters in 3D so many years later. It had been a long time. So leave some comments below if you had seen this in the theater. Okay. Like I usually said. So did you see it? Did you see it in 3D? Have you seen it in 2D? Did you go to the theaters and see it in 3D when it was re-released? Leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts about this. I'll tell you, this movie, it's just like a family thing that we've done over the years, and I'm glad I picked it up. All right, so I want you to hit that like and subscribe button. I have more reviews coming out. I know I've been a little lax lately. But I want you to hit that like, subscribe button. I want you to have a good night. As always, God bless. Oh, and my barracuda story. So, 50 years ago at the age of 17, I hop in my 1973 Chevy Vega. I put my 6-foot raft in there, my spear gun in there, and my snorkel gear, and I drive on down to the beach, down to Fort Lauderdale, by the wharf there. And there's a reef out there about, 1,300 feet offshore, something like that. And what we did, we used to just, you know, we'd paddle out there with our snorkel gear, pulling our 6-foot raft behind us and our spear gun. Then we get out to the reef. We would spear some fish, and then we would take them off the spear and put them in the raft. And my friends couldn't go with me that day. And I went out by myself. Crazy stuff I've done by myself. I got stories you wouldn't believe. It's 1,000 wonders I'm still alive. I bought scuba gear at a garage sale, and I went straight down 120 feet to the bottom of a sinkhole. Well, that's another story. So I'm out on the reef now. I'm all by myself. I got my spear gun. I'm hunting around. I'm looking for some fish. Now, on the way out there, as you're paddling out, the water's murky and the bottom drops off and it drops off and it gets down to about 30 feet, and you see sea cucumbers down there and stuff like that. And then it starts coming up, and you're out there by 1,300 feet, and the reef starts coming up. Now you're about maybe 10 feet off the reef. And I spear some fish. I put it in my raft, and I'm snorkeling, and I got the raft in one hand. I turn around, and there's a 6-foot barracuda. 6-foot barracuda as long as my raft. I'm at a 6-foot raft, and this sucker's staring at me just with that gaping mouth. And I get in that raft as fast as I could, and I take my fins off of my gear, and I'm like, holy crap. And I put my mask on, and I look under the raft, and he's under my raft, in the shadow of my raft, not directly on it, but he's in the shadow. And I start drifting, and he's in that shadow. And I start drifting towards the pier, and the fishermen hate spear fishermen, they hate snorkelers. I'm heading for the pier now. There's nothing I could do. I didn't have a paddle. I wasn't going to get back in the water. And they start cussing at me as I start coming near the pier. I begged them to, please let me just pass under the pier. And as soon as I got past the pier, they started chucking sinkers at me, believe it or not. That's how, and I made it to the shore and I got out and everything was okay. But man, when I saw that barracuda here, it triggered that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that story. Anyway, hit that like and subscribe button. I want you to have a good night. Stay safe. As always, God bless. Come on back. I'm going to have some more reviews. Thank you.